Is it true that Missy Hyatt discovered you?
Yes.
How did she discover you?
We moved into a really, really high, real fancy, high-end apartment complex called Popular Place. And it's by Kennesaw State College, Kennesaw State, University. They're a university now. They were just state, but now they're a big, university. And so we moved in there. And I was believe it or not, I'm a licensed massage therapist. I went to the Atlanta School of Massage, and it was about I think it was like an 8-month thing. It's a pretty intense thing. They're really trying to clean it up, from the masseuse work to the massage therapist to all that. So, it just, it's a good time to get in it. And I was watching all these guys and women that wasn't very attractive, and kind of was, heavy set or skinny, and, just everything opposite from me, which I didn't judge them for that. I just went, if they're making that kind of money, I'm gonna blow this out of the water, man. I mean, with my Southern hospitality and my Southern voice and me being in shape and all that, I thought for sure it was gonna be just a complete, just unbelievable,
Shall I pause this for a second while you get that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about that at all. If I could reach it, I'd do it, but I'd turn it off.
Okay.
But regardless, yeah, it just, so I'm in the middle of that, of thinking I was going to be rich from massage therapy, and going to probably go into, like a, sports medicine kind of thing. And I'm a big sports freak. I mean, I was all county, all state in football and baseball for 4 years. And so, I want to do something sports related, not just massage. So there was light at the end of the tunnel to make it bigger and better. And then I'm at the pool one day, and way too far to hear each other, I see this really beautiful, big boobed, blonde haired chick. And I'm like, who the hell is that? And at the time I was engaged. Matter of fact, our marriage was getting close to coming up, but we were just engaged at the time. And so I come back from the pool a couple hours later, and I see Missy Hyatt, and don't ask me how. I got a great memory, dude. And we had a room, it was 1504, and she was directly across the hall in 1505 moving in. And at 18, I guess, just not being, smart enough or whatever, or naive or whatever you want to call it, it was like, I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. I mean, her moving in right next door to me, that must be strange, because it's a brand new complex. Well, that night, not knock at the door, Missy comes in, and like Missy does, she tells the truth. She goes, listen, and my fiance was there, and she goes, look, today I was at the pool. I saw your fiance, and he, I just was blown away how good he looked. And I was like, man, that guy needs to be a wrestler, And so we didn't know where she was going, and we didn't know who she was at all. And what I've been told 1,000 times, I hate hearing this, is I don't watch wrestling no more. And but I said the same thing, and that was 30 something years ago. And I go, well, Missy, we watched as kids, but I ain't watched wrestling in years. I said, so we wouldn't know you anyway. And she goes, well, I'm just telling you, I think you should get into pro wrestling. And I said, those guys don't make no money. And she goes, our lowest paid guy makes about $100 grand a year. And I went, can we go over that one more time? So we went over it again. And now, with me being the athlete I was and thinking it was all just being an athlete, which it's not. Wrestling is the hardest sport to be good at because it takes so many different things. You got to have swag. You got to have charisma. You got to have a look. You got to be able to do these things. Like, for example, if you threw Ric Flair a football, there's no way a spiraled football is going to come back at you.
You might knock the drink out of his hand.
Right. and it switched hands to catch it. And so at the same time, I just knew that, I learned real quick that this was tougher than it was. So I go to my first class. Actually I go see Buddy Lee Parker, Sarge. And he's like, well, for starters, you're not big enough. And I was 220 and jacked. And I go, I'm just as big as Brian Pillman. He goes, well, Brian Pillman can wrestle. I go, how the hell you don't know? How the hell you know that I can't wrestle? I said, we just met. So he backed off a little bit and said, well, it's $3,000. I was like, and this is no power plant. This is a dump, a warehouse dump in Griffin, Georgia. And the ring even looks like this. It had like a dip in it. I don't know why or nothing. And then they were whispering. Kevin Nash and the guy who's working was whispering to me. Whispering in the ring. And I thought, those bastards are talking about me. What they were doing is going over their spots. And kayfabe was a big deal back then. So I tell Missy, and she told me, she said, oh my God, they were just going over their spots and they were just kayfabing and da da da. And so without Missy, I really wouldn't have made it because she told me the facts. She said, they're going to hate your guts. You got to shake everybody's hand when you go in. You got to be as humble as you can be. And I took all of her advice, or I probably wouldn't have made it. But I go to the very first class. Once Missy found me, $3,000 I didn't have. So I said, look, Missy, you got to find me somebody else. So she found a guy named Steve, the Brawler Lawler, and which recently passed away from COVID. And she found him for $1,500. I was able to scratch up that money. And I come back home from the very first, practice. And my wife my fiance is like, oh God, she's already counting $100,000. How'd it go? I went, I'm not going back. I said, I'm not going back. She goes, what? She goes, you can do everything. I go, not this. I said, I've looked at Missy's calendar of what the guys do, on how many days a week they work and stuff. And I go, and I add that to what I just went through one time. And I went, I can't do it. I can't do this. This is too much. And then for some reason, I went back a second day. And then here we are, you know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but Missy Hyatt got me in wrestling.